I will prepare really, really well. And I know myself, and I know that I'm good under pressure. I know that I can deal with being alone. Like, I know that it's not going to be my fault kind of if it doesn't work. If it doesn't work out, it's because something happens that I don't have control over. And like, that's nothing I can do anything about anyway. So I will do everything I can with the things I can, and then the rest just has to happen. But yeah, in my mind, there's just no way I'm not going to make it.
On the Wind is sponsored by Orca. Go to getorca.com to modernize your boat's navigation system. I've been advocating for tablet navigation for many, many years now, and this solution is pretty awesome. I've been using it on Spica all summer. I just delivered Spica from Stockholm into Enköping. It's about a 50-mile inland sail through a lake, and the navigation was spot on right in front of me. Super easy. One of my favorite things is it's a touchscreen, but it also has physical buttons, so you can press buttons to zoom in and zoom out and recenter on the boat's position icon. Really, really cool. Super installation. Can't say enough good things about it. I've had several people actually buy the Orca since we started talking about it on the podcast. We've also got some stuff on Instagram about using it. So check out getorca.com, and thank you to Orca for sponsoring this episode of the show. On the Wind and 59 North is supported by Boldano Towels. They make quick-drying Turkish cotton, really nice towels that we use on Falcon and Eastbjorn, and we have them on Spica as well. And you can get 20% off if you use the code ONTHEWIND on their website. That's boldano.com, Buldano. And if you're going to be at the boat show, Michael will be at the boat show, which is where we first met him. So check them out at Boat Show in Annapolis next week, or go to boldano.com. So the news is out. 59 North has officially bought the Schooner Woodwind business. And I'm sitting here in Annapolis with Mia, Ryan Ellison, and Jen Kaye, whose family started the Woodwind and sold it to us. How do you feel now?
I'm feeling a lot more relieved than I felt this time 1 week ago.
I can imagine. How do you feel about, like, Woodwind's legacy now is in our hands, me, Mia, and Ryan sitting here on the table?
Well, I'm super confident that you guys can do this.
What makes you so confident?
You have the passion. You care. You guys are individuals that love everything sailing, as well as the introduction to sailing to people. So how could it go wrong?
How could it go wrong?
Famous last words.
Yeah, really. I mean, you and I were talking the other day how, you've gotten a lot of feedback from people, because we sent this out to the Woodwind newsletter and to the 59 North newsletter on Friday, and people were kind of saying, "Oh man, I'm not going to get to sail with Jen anymore because you've been the face of this and you're the enthusiasm and all." And I thought your response to that was really great. So how do you answer that when you say to people, like, when everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not going to get to sail with bubbly Jen anymore"?
Well, first, I tell them that I'm here till May 30th. I'm sure I need to sail that boat. Okay, so I need some time on that boat, and for both boats, for me to, say my proper goodbyes, and for the people that have cherished sailing with me to go out there and sail with them.
I also like the way you said about, like, the Woodwind family type thing, because, like, you were my mentor back in the day, and my enthusiasm is, in large part thanks to you imparting that enthusiasm on me, and, like, I can't help it either.
Yeah, somebody asked me and said, well, part of what we love is, your enthusiasm, etc., of your sailing. And I said, well, I taught Andy everything he knows.
Basically true, yeah.
So I got him, like, you were, like, still in college. You were my first and only intern, right? And you were going for recreation and tourism.
It's tourism management, which is pretty apt now, I guess, in hindsight.
Exactly. So that's who else would you want to come in and take over your business? It's somebody that's worked for you, that loves this entire tourism section, hospitality, customer service, as well as sailing.
Well, Mia, we were talking too that, like, we've kind of already gone through this similar situation before, where when you and I started 59 North, we did everything and we were the face, and there was a concern about, are people still going to want to sail with 59 North if it's not with you and me?
Yeah, and it took a little bit of time to convince people that you will love this. And I think we got an email back this year. I think it was someone across the Panama Canal with Marion Manor that said to you that maybe I like them a little bit more than you. No, but I think it is great that we are like the head of 59 North, but also then we pick the people that we want to work with.
Yeah, that's right. And Ryan, I want to include you in here too, because there's a lot of. We should do like a long form sort of backstory of this whole thing. This is just the intro for today's episode or tomorrow's episode. But people have asked, "Oh, so are you guys moving back to Annapolis now?" And I was like, "No, like this is not going to change anything for 59 North. Mia and I are still running 59 North from Sweden." And Ryan, this kind of, you were sort of a key part of this because you guys just moved to Annapolis. And this actually started almost a year ago that we were having lunch with Sophie at Grumps in Annapolis. And Jen's like, hey, you guys should buy the Woodwind. And we're like, actually, maybe we could. So explain kind of how you fit in all this.
Yeah, still trying to figure that out. Obviously we've known you and Mia since essentially we started sailing. I think as soon as we bought the boat, Polar Seal, we met you guys and did our little cruise around the Atlantic and everything, and then landed here and decided to have a little land life for a little bit and sold Polar Seal. And at the same time, we were talking to Jen about buying 2 big wooden schooners. So I think for Sophie and I, we have other projects going on, but we wanted to be a part of the Annapolis community. That was really important. And the Woodwind is such a big piece of the Annapolis community. There's really no better way to get involved, I think.
We're going to launch your mayoral campaign on the back of this.
Yeah, Jen won't let me, actually. I was joking about that a while ago, and she was not thrilled.
But it's cool. I mean, you basically were involved in 59 North at that kind of crucial moment that Mia just talked about. You came in, and you're actually an owner of 59 North as well, a small part of it. So it kind of like all fits together perfectly. And I said in the Instagram video, you haven't seen yet, that just came out, that basically this, to me, like, in a way felt like inevitable and I hope it felt that way for you in a sense that like this all worked out so perfectly sort of symmetrically that it's just like the perfect situation.
Well, looking back at the photos, yes, now I think that, all of our old photos together with, on board the boat at the schooner races and all that, it like really did lead up to this amazing event.
Yeah, it's so cool. So you guys can come celebrate. I've been teasing this news, I think partly to Jen's chagrin in the lead up to this because she didn't want to tell anybody till it was official, but it's official now. We're going to be at Boat Show this week. 59 North will have a spot at Tent
08.
Which is in like the Marriott parking lot area, not far from where the Woodwind docks. So we'll be back and forth between those places. Mia, you've got your women's happy hour on Saturday. Tickets are still, it's actually free. You just have to register at noon up at Ram's Head. And then we've got the big crew party at J World on Friday night that we're all gonna be at. So Jen, this will be the first of many times we'll get to celebrate this, but thanks for like pushing this. You want to say one more thing? You're putting your hand up. Go ahead.
How to sail on the Woodwind. You forgot that part of the boat
that's
show.
Why you're here. See?
Yes. So there you go. So you would just find your way out to one of the longest docks that goes up and down Ego Alley, and that is F2. Go to the end of it if you are walking to the harbor, and you will find the Woodwinds at the end of dock F2, and we're sailing up to 7 times a day.
Awesome. Cool. And yeah, we're doing our 59 North sale, which is sold out, but there's lots of other opportunity to buy tickets and come sailing. And lastly, I should say, today's episode is with a Norwegian sailor who's doing the Golden Globe race next year. Her name is Mara Løvenskiold. I think that's how you say it. She's also going to be at Boat Show this week in person to meet people and start to make connections for her campaign. She's going to be speaking at your women's happy hour, Mia, and she's going to be hanging around the 59 North booth, and I'm sure you'll meet her on Woodwind. So the guest of today's episode, come and see her at the Boat Show and say hi to Mara if you're around. All right, that's it for today's episode. Until next week.
Hold fast.
You're off the hook. Thank you.
Awesome.
You're listening to On the Wind, my podcast about offshore sailing. I'm your host, Andy Schell. Mara Løvenskiold is a Norwegian athlete turned sailor, getting ready to sail the next edition of the nonstop round-the-world Golden Globe race in 2026. She's been a professional fencer and bobsledder and turned to sailing after a chance encounter got her on a catamaran headed around the world. After circumnavigating over 3 years with Sailing Ripple Effect, Mara set her sights on the next big challenge in the Golden Globe race. I talked to her from Sweden a few weeks ago about her career and GGR prep. Before you came on, I was just kind of stalking you a little bit on Instagram and looking at your website and some of the YouTube stuff. It's pretty cool. I forget how I think you just popped up on our Instagram feeds, probably through Ripple Effect, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
But like, my first question is like a pretty big one. But like, if you meet new people at some place that have no idea who you are, and they say, "Oh, what do you do for life or work or whatever?" How do you answer that?
Every time I'm like, I don't really know how to answer that. And then, I get into the full story of how I now been sailing around the world for the last 3 years on Sailing Ripple Effect. And when I first did my first leg, because I was just going to sail across the Pacific Ocean, and then I went home and I realized that, but how am I supposed to go home and live a normal life after I experienced like my dream life? I was living my best life ever. And I was also offered the opportunity to actually come back and stay on the boat. And then I was like, I just have to go back. So in that time I was at home, I made sure I could move all my businesses online so I could manage it from abroad. And then I went back to the boat and stay there for 3 years, and now I'm going to do the GGR. So well, I'll come back to the ripple effect thing, so I want to talk about that in detail. But like, how old were you when you first went, and what was the original goal? Like you said, you were just going to cross an ocean. Like, what was the plan initially? So that was in 2022, and so in 2017, me and my friend, we sailed across the Atlantic, and we were like, this is the most amazing thing ever. Our next thing has to be to cross the Pacific. And we had this big dream of sailing to French Polynesia. Like, that was what we wanted to do. And then, life happened. We were both studying, then we got jobs, and we were busy on other parts. But then suddenly this opportunity came where she was free, I was free, or I could make myself free. And then we found a boat that we could go on, and we were like, okay, it's happening. This has been our dream for a long time. Let's take 6 months and cross the Pacific and just sail to French Polynesia. And so we started to plan that entire process. We were supposed to go on another boat than what we ended up going on. So we sailed from Florida to Panama through the Panama Canal. And then the owner of that boat, he said that he didn't want to do it anymore. So he backed out. We were then there and we were like, well, now what? Should we go home? Should we just travel South America? We're like, no, we're here to cross the Pacific. This is what we came for. So I reached out to Gerard on Sailing Ripple Effect, and because I knew he was looking for one person to cross the Pacific with, because he was doing his show already, but he was going to take a break to cross the Pacific and wanted someone that knew how to sail. So I was like, hey, we're 3, can we come? And then he was like, oh, well, I just want one. And I'm like, well, that's not how the deal goes. Then we worked it out. We could go with him, and we sailed across and just had the most amazing time ever. And he had his show. It was
so wait,
Sailing.
what? Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, what show?
So it was called Sailing Cerebral at the time, where he brought with him 3 strangers that didn't know how to sail, and he wanted to teach them how to sail and just show them that there's, a different world out there, that there's more ways of doing a thing.
So wait, it's Gerard, is that Doc?
That's Doc, exactly.
Got it. Okay, all right. I only literally just learned this like 5 minutes ago,
I'm
so
like,
perfect.
I keep forgetting that not everyone knows absolutely everything about this. That's been my world for 3 years. Yeah, so I got very invested in this show, and I was like, this is really, really cool. This is amazing, but you're doing it completely wrong. Like, you need to do this and this and this. And then, like, everything I knew from marketing and from running businesses, I'm like, this is why it's not working. And he was like, well, if you think you can do it better, then do it. Like, just stay and do all the things. And I was like, no, I can't do that. Like, I have my life at home. I need to go home to everything I have there. And he was like, okay, well, if you change your mind, you got 3 months to change your mind. And I went home and I was like, obviously change my mind. And then I came back. But
what you said you needed to go home, all the things you had back there, what was at home?
so I had my house, my dog, my boyfriend, my CrossFit gym, my other businesses, my friends, my family. Like, I had a good life at home. Like, everything was set up, kind of. It was the normal. It was still not normal, maybe the path I had chosen, but it was normal-ish. And I was an athlete. I was a rower, but I had to take a break because of an injury. But then I had a chance to do bobsled, actually, and we were thinking about qualifying for the Olympics, and that was another thing that I was going to go home for. But then my bobsled partner, she got injured, so that didn't work out anymore. And then, yeah, things just started to just point towards you should just go back to the boat.
What about the boyfriend?
Well, we stayed together for a very long time. But then, because it was always, always just going to be 1 year, and that's fine. Like, when you have an end date, it's okay. But then suddenly 1 year was like, yeah, but maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. And then when Sailing Ripley Effect was done, it was like, actually, now I'm going to do the Golden Globe race, and I'm going to be away for 2 more years and actually never come back home in those 2 years. And then we were like, okay, you know what? Maybe this is not a good idea at the moment. Our lives are pointing a bit in the different directions.
There is a lot to unpack, and all these things you just told me, like 5 to 12 different things I'm really interested in. But just in the big picture, like, you've made a lot of seems like difficult decisions. How do you make decisions in life generally?
In general, I'm like, what makes me happy is what I'm going to do. And it's what's led me to this point, and it's led me to experience so many amazing things. And some people might say that it's selfish, but in the end, like, it is my life. And if I'm not happy, then it's not going to be good. Like, if I had decided to stay at home, but I would always think about what could have been, what I could have done, like, that wouldn't have been good either. So instead, I decide that this is what I want to do now, and then I go for it. And when I do something, I just go all in. And that's it's just how I do things. And it's tough at times, but I never regretted doing it. It's always been the right choice.
What's tough about it?
It's tough because I often, it affects other people as well. And for example, signing up for the Golden Globe race, it's not just, I want to do it. It only affects me. No, it affects my entire family. It affects my friends. They have to go through everything as well. They are on shore. They see the storm coming. I don't even see it coming, but they see it coming and they can't do anything about it. So I'm putting them through a lot of pain and suffering just because it's something that I want. So that's, yeah.
Are they supportive?
Very, very, very. Yeah, they're super, they see it's something I want, and they back it up 100%. Of course, my mom is always like, or maybe you should just stay at home, and then I'm like, no, and she understands it, and then they support it. So it's really nice. I have a big family, and they're all super, super supportive.
You said you were an athlete, and you've got businesses and stuff like this. Like, what inspired it? Like you said, you don't really have a normal life, so to speak, in that sense. So what led you kind of outside of the norm in the first place? Like, what's your long background? How did you grow up? How did you kind of get inspired into going a different path, just in general, before we even get to the sailing?
Well, I grew up in a family. I had 3 brothers growing up, and we were all very competitive. And we all did different sports, and all of them were on the national team in each sport, in their own sport, and competing at really, really high levels. So it was also something that I was like, well, I'm also going to do that. Like, okay, you were
you
the
older
first.
or younger?
I'm the second oldest.
Okay. Yep.
So that's something that's always been a part of our family, is just to push each other and always strive for being the best. And we're all pretty extreme in that way. We do, it's all or nothing with all of us. And it's been good, but we never competed in the same things. So we could always just be supporting each other a lot. Like, we're never rivals, but also, okay, you became European champion first, well, then I'm going to become the world champion. And then, and then we're just like, it's that kind of rivalry. And in addition, like, my mom and dad, they were entrepreneurs as well, and they're starting businesses from we were young. So it's something that just seemed normal. It's not something big and scary that is really difficult to achieve. It's like, yeah, I have an idea. Okay, I'll just try it out. And then it works out or it doesn't, but it wasn't that dangerous. So we'll just do it again. And then something sticks, something doesn't. But it's always been an environment of, if you want to try something, you try it. Just go for it. And to have that family as kind of the base that supports you no matter what. And I know that if I fail, if everything goes wrong, I can always come home. It's not like I'm going to end up on the streets and just struggle for my life. Like, that's not going to happen. And to have that safety net, it's giving me just that extra push to actually try to go for my dreams. And then, like, I haven't needed the safety net, which is great. But without it, I probably wouldn't have dared to try all the things I have.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, I actually have a very similar background, not with the athletic stuff, but with the family stuff, growing up in a supportive environment where my dad had businesses and stuff like that. And I think it's just a mental thing, just mentally knowing that you have a fallback plan to, you can always go home. I mean, my dad still lives in the same house I grew up in, like, and here I am living in Sweden, a different continent. Like, it's always just having that gives you that sort of mental edge. And I think for me, it's been like, it feels, I guess I feel sort of open to criticism, like, oh, well, you didn't do this by yourself. It's like you have all this, you've been set up. But at the same time, it's like, yes, I did have a lot of privileges to be in this position, but you still have to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You still have to do it. So what was like your first step outside of like going to school, going to get a job, whatever? Like, what was your first step to doing something sort of your own way?
I think maybe it's not super my own way, but kind of the thing that made everything start was when I was going to go for exchange in Australia. Like, it was the thing that I always dreamt of doing. And then it got to the point, and I noticed like it would be so easy for me right now to just not go, because then I wouldn't have to organize it and I wouldn't have to do this and this and this. And it is a little bit hard. But I was like, no, I mean, you always wanted to do this, just do it. And then I did, and it turned out to be the most amazing thing ever. And that came back, and then another opportunity arose. Like, I got the chance to, I was accepted to the school in Milan for my master degree because I wanted to move to Italy for fencing. I was a fencer back then. And I got this chance to go to a master there. And then that was so much easier because the previous time I tried something like that, it would turn out so well. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it. Went again, turned out amazing. And then the next time I was like, I applied for a job in Greece. I think I applied like Friday morning at 12 o'clock. They called me back and we had a phone interview. And then they said, if you want a job, you can start. You have to be here on Sunday. And I was like, okay. And I just packed my stuff and left. And it was just like, I just kept having these really good experiences every time I took a chance, and it just snowballed. And then I was like, well, then I'm going to do this and this and this. And it made me look for opportunities everywhere. And it made me just aware of, if you want something, if you're looking for it, it's going to show up. And that's something, people keep telling me, oh, you're so lucky that you got this opportunity, that this showed up. And I'm like, yes, but also, if this had been in front of your nose, you probably wouldn't have said yes. You probably wouldn't have seen it. So it's a lot of just getting into that mindset of being open for these things and see them when they arise.
I love that. I've always said that, like, you have to be two things: aware of opportunities that arise, like being on the lookout for stuff, just like you said, and then brave enough to actually act on them.
Yeah.
And not hesitate. I wonder though, as you were saying that, I wonder, it's ironic because I did a semester of college in Australia as well, and that was kind of a fundamental part of me doing a similar path. But I wonder, like, as you do more things like that and get kind of more comfortable, do you think that also pushes you to need sort of bigger and bolder experiences to get the same kind of like rush?
I have been thinking a lot about that, and yes, I do think so, because things that other people are now like, whoa, this is the most amazing thing. I'm like, what do you mean? This is so normal. And I catch myself doing that, and I'm like, no, actually, this is pretty crazy. But yeah, I just gotten so used to doing these things all the time that I don't get that same rush. And I mean, here I am signed up for the Golden Globe race, which is probably a good proof that is the case. Yeah, but
to your point, like, I don't think it's that crazy. Like, I've interviewed many people that have done it, and if my life was different, I would consider doing it as well. Like, I don't think it's that crazy. It's just where you come from, what you're. Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, like you said, if you do zoom out, it is a little bit crazy to do what you're doing. But I get it.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I'm just living in it, and it just seems so normal. Like when I've been sailing around the world, I'm like, yeah, everyone sails around the world. Like, it's such a normal thing, and then you realize that. No, it's just because you're around these people that are sailing around the world because you're doing it, and it just make it seem so normal. But I'm trying to take that step back sometimes, to see it from the outside and see that, you know what, this is pretty amazing, and it's you should really, really appreciate every second of it.
What did you go to school for?
I did business economy and project management. So that was my bachelor and master degree. But then I do like studying. So I did also nutrition, training, climate, biology, and social sciences as well. Just for fun.
That's cool. I mean, that's, I guess, a unique thing about growing up in Scandinavia. You can just take classes. It doesn't cost a ton. It's just time.
Yep, yeah, that was pretty cool. Nice. And when COVID hit, I could do everything online, which was great for me. So I could just study and live my best life.
When you started, what was the first business that you started?
I think it was just like a random, like, personal business. What is it called? Like limited. I don't remember the name in English, but just so I could send invoices to people for doing random work.
Oh, so to do freelance stuff. Yeah,
sure. Exactly. So it's just more me helping out with something, or me doing someone's bookkeeping or stuff like that. But then the first like real company was a nutrition coaching company that I made for online nutrition coaching. And
is that still going?
No, we just finished it actually. We had it for a long time, but now it's like, no, I need to get rid of some stuff.
Did you say you have a CrossFit gym?
Yes, in Oslo.
That's cool. And you still have that?
Well, I don't do anything with it, but it's it's still there because I can't, but it's still there and it's running, which is a lot of fun.
I just started a CrossFit 2 years ago. They don't have the CrossFit name anymore, but it's the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. Like, I joined it to meet people and just to find a community. And I was always like anti CrossFit because I thought it was a cult.
Yeah. Same.
And really. Yeah. And I love it. And I just, when I got back from Falcon, I was in Tahiti and I found a CrossFit gym in Tahiti. They're like, yeah, come and do a thing, and it's
Exactly.
such a cool way to like such a cool group of people. Even though maybe it might still be a cult, but it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Every time I go to a new place that I'm going to spend some time in, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go to a CrossFit gym because then I'll get friends and get a community, and I just get straight into it. So it's great.
How hard is it? Because a lot of your Instagram stuff is like boat fitness stuff. I mean, as like an ex-athlete, it's not that hard, or it's not that easy to like stay active on the boat when you're living full time. So how has that transition been for you?
It's been difficult because I'm like, yes, I was a professional athlete. So people are like, oh, well, it's so easy for you to just work out. And I'm like, no, because it was my job. It was not a choice I had to make. Like every day I just get up and I work out. Like it's not me being like, should I work out today? I don't know. Like, no, you just did it. But now I have to choose every single day to actually work out. And it's difficult because I'm on a flipping boat and I don't have the space. I don't have the equipment. It's a lot harder, but I've like figured out, like it's taken me some time to figure this out for myself as well now in this new environment, but I just need to do something every day. I just need to take away that choice again. So every day I do have to work out, but it doesn't have to be a 2-hour workout. Like that's also something I have to work on, that it's not a workout unless it's 2 hours. Like, no, actually half an hour could also be a workout. And now that's fine. So now I do a workout every single day. Some days it's, with not barbells, dumbbells and strength training. And like, I feel like I worked out, and sometimes it's stretching. And that's also completely fine because that's an important part of it. And the most important thing is that I actively just go out there and I do something and keep that routine. Because if I don't have the routine, I'm just as lazy as everyone else.
It's very easy. We used to say, like, especially when you're in a hot climate on the boat, you get this like tropical stupor. You just don't feel like doing anything. And the culture is kind of like easy to, I'm just going to go have a beer with friends instead. And it's so easy to just fall out of the habit unless you're like really focused. Did you do stuff when you were at sea as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just something we do. And also now because now people think that I'm working out every day, and I have to. Especially like on Sailing Ripple Effect, when new crew came on, they were like, I'm so excited to work out with you every day. I'm like, I'm ready for that commitment. I'm like, damn it, I'm not ready for that commitment. But okay, yeah, really. Let's do it. But it's been great on Sailing Ripple Effect because we've been a group and I made it mandatory for everyone to join. So
oh wow,
now,
cool.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sorry, these are the rules now.
Did they know that? Did they know that when they signed up?
No, but I think in the end they did expect that, and they were like ready for that part of it. So then it's a lot easier because then if I don't have the motivation, they will still be there and they expect me to show up with a workout, and then we do that. Before it was mandatory. If I was a bit lazy, then everyone just stayed quiet and they're like, oh, maybe we don't know how to do it today.
Yeah, nobody speaks up just in case they're the one that, oh yeah, now we can do it.
Exactly.
Well, I guess it's easier on a catamaran too.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah. And definitely easier with more space, more people, everything is a bit easier. Now it's harder, but I found my way around the monohull and I figured out how to do it. But it is going to be different to be alone, and just I have to make sure I'm the one that makes me work out. I can't.
Well, not to mention, I mean, you have one thing while you're, I guess, prepping for Golden Globe, but like once you're actually on it, you're going to have to prioritize sleep more than anything, I guess. Have you ever done any solo sailing?
20 nautical miles. So no, I had my first trip just very recently last week. So
how did that go?
It went really well. It was great. I've been practicing solo sailing, so I've had people on the boat, but I've been just doing everything. And,
sure.
Also on the catamaran, like you do everything yourself. So it's not like the actual, like the technical part of it is fine. It's just different mentally. And if something happens, to have someone there, it's nice to know that someone is there to help you out. So, but it went really well, and it was a nice nice little sail. But yeah, it's gonna.
Where does the like inspiration to even get into sailing at all start with you? Did you grow up with it? Was your family sailors? Like, what was that? How did that start?
So I did not grow up with it. I grew up in the middle of the forest, far away from anywhere you could actually sail. So that was a bit random. But my uncle, he was a sailor, or he is a sailor. He crossed the Atlantic when like 30 years before I did it. And that was something like the picture of him on that boat, the picture of him in the Caribbean under a palm tree with a coconut. I was like, I need that in my life. And he was telling the stories and I was just mesmerized. I knew, like, before I even saw a sailboat in my life, I was like, this is the life for me. And I just had to do it. But I didn't sail. I think the first time I went sailing, I was 15 and I went with my uncle. We were going to go to Greece to sail. It was his and my dad's 45th birthday. So we gave them a trip with me, obviously. And then we got there. And like the second I just stepped a foot on the boat, I was like, now I'm home. Like I had so high expectations. The chances of that going really bad, like they were big, but everything just lived up to my expectations and even better. And I was like, I never felt so free in my life. And I was like, now it's over. This is it for me. But still, you know, I still lived in the forest. I still couldn't sail. So I didn't sail a lot for like the first 10 years. It was once a year in summer, or maybe twice, but it was always just, I knew that at some point I would do it.
Was that transatlantic you mentioned? Was that kind of your first big hang on one second. Hang on one second.
No worries.
Sorry. Hej. Ja, men jag spelar in en podd.
Jag ska tända lite äppelris där nere.
Ja, gör det. Kan man röka?
Ja. Men berätta inte för Maria, hon vill inte jag skulle tända.
Det ska jag inte göra.
Jag tänder på nu.
Ja. Hej då. Sorry, that was Mia's dad. We actually live on the farm that he grew up at, so he's still here all the time with his tractor and doing stuff. And he's like burning some apple tree stuff. He's like, I'm just gonna light the fire down there, just so you know. It's like, okay.
All right.
Sorry. It's very cute, actually. He's down here a lot. What did I say? Oh, yeah, the 2017, when you did that transatlantic. Was that like the first, like, okay, now I'm going to actually pursue this?
So I did start sailing when I lived in Australia in 2012.
Where in Australia?
Perth.
Okay, cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a pretty big sailing. Like,
yeah.
They have had America's Cups and stuff there.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
They did. They did.
But yeah, it's pretty big there. So when I went there, that's when I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn how to sail now. So I signed up for a sailing club, only with the tiny dinghies. But then after one training, they were like, we need a person for the race team. And I'm like, I'm coming. So then I joined the racing team and we did races a couple of times, which was great. It was really fun to just be in that environment where you have like, this is your one job and then you just do that job. But at the same time, like we were rotating through the different races so I could learn different positions. And then one race, like half of the team were sick. And that was one of the best races I've ever been in, because suddenly you had to just be in every single role because someone was needed there, then you had to go there, but then the helmsman had to go there. So you suddenly had to be on the helm, and then you were just rotating, and it was just this, you were in this flow state and just everything worked out, and it was just amazing. And so that's when I got a little bit into racing and when I really started to learn more about sailing. But then I went back to Norway again, and I did sail a tiny bit when I was at university, but I was also a professional fencer, so that took most of my time.
That's like a good pirate skill though, kind of, right?
Exactly. So that's actually so I grew up in this very tiny place, and you can only do cross-country skiing, handball, football, and horseback riding. So when I moved to Bergen to study, I was like, I'm going to do all the things, but what should I start with? And I'm like, okay, my biggest dream is to become a pirate, so you should do fencing and sailing. And that's what I did. But then I stuck with it.
Wait, so you actually started fencing because you wanted to be a pirate?
Yep.
And then wait, so you it sounds like you got pretty good at it.
Yeah, I did. So I did immediately. Again, I just do everything all in. So I went all in. I had a coach that was really, really good, who had a silver medal from the Olympics. He was Russian. He was pretty hardcore coach. And then I kind of got to the level where I couldn't get a lot better in Norway. At least that's what it felt like, because the level is not very high. I often showed up to practice and it was just me there. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I decided that I had to move to pursue it. So I moved to Italy for my master's degree and to do fencing there. But then I did get injured right before the Olympic qualifications. So I never actually got to test myself properly there. But
But you're like pirate level fencer now.
Yeah.
So how, like, sorry, this is a total aside, but with fencing, like, how much of it is, how physical is it versus like artistic versus like, how does that balance go? Because it looks quite kind of like almost like dancing in a way.
Yeah, it is in a way. It is demanding in every way. And that's also why I like it. Like, you always have to have your mind in the right place, and you have to just move your body super fast and smooth in every direction. And it's really exciting, I think. And you have to you always have to jump and have your knees bent so your legs get really, really strong, but you also have to be really explosive. And the thing is, you just have to do it enough times so you react in the correct way. And that takes a long, long time to get there, because
So it's like subconscious almost.
Yeah, a lot of it. Sometimes they say that the best fencers, they are just really, really lucky, but it's because you put yourself in the right position at the right time, because you just know what's going to happen without actually knowing it. I think it's a really cool sport. And
how long is how does a match work? Sorry, I've seen fencing in the Olympics, but never paid that much attention. But now I'm suddenly interested.
Question. Now I don't even remember anymore. I think you have, I think it's 3 minutes per round, and it's 3 minutes of effective time. So every time someone gets a point, the time stops, and then it's 3 rounds. But now I'm actually it's kind of like boxing. Like, you have a timer, and then you have a break, or a short break, and then it resets, and you go to another round. Yeah, and then it's the first person to get to 15 points or the most points when the time runs out. But actually now I'm I don't even remember the details. It's been so flippin' long that
So what?
Don't take my word for what I just
what
said.
Was that's fine. That's fair enough. What was the highest level you've achieved in any of your sort of athletic pursuits?
In my rowing, I have a bronze medal from the European Championships, and then I have a 6th place in the World Championships. And then in bobsled, we qualified. No, we were 2 seconds from qualifying for the Olympics, but we didn't try to qualify for the Olympics because we were very new. We were just okay, let's just get through this. And then we were oh, that went really well. That's exciting. So we were hoping that the next time we would actually make it, but we didn't get to the next time.
When you look back on your athletic career, do you look at it as, how do you judge it? Was it successful, unsuccessful?
I mean, a little bit of both, because for me, it's not necessarily about, I wanted to go to the Olympics. I wanted to make it, and I didn't, which sucked. However, I really, really, really love the process, and I'm so happy to just be there. And I never felt like I was sacrificing anything to be there. Even if I did, I couldn't go and do all the fun things that everyone else went, but it was never something I was sad about. It was always heck yeah, because I'm doing this and I'm absolutely loving it. And I got to experience so many cool things as I was doing. I was moved to Spain for 3 months just to row full time, which was amazing. And then we went on all of these competitions everywhere. So I like it was successful in the way that I was always happy doing it. I think the hardest part about it was that I was forced to quit every time. I wasn't done with the fencing. I got the heel injury. My doctor was like, if you want to walk, like you have to stop fencing now. It wasn't because I was done fencing. In rowing, it was always hard for me because I was always older, and it's the national team, they don't want you because you're too old already. So even if you're better than the younger people, they're like, we have to still go with the young people.
They'd rather really develop the younger people.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly. So it was like tough the entire way. But then when I actually quit, it was also because of an injury that I got, and not because I was ready. And then with the bobsled, it was the same. Like it was my friend that got injured that forced us to quit. And it was never my choice to quit. And that was tough because I wasn't ready. I was there to keep going. And so in that way, it was not great.
How do you define, like, what's your definition of success in general?
It's a good question. I'm always, if I'm happy, I feel like then I've succeeded, because that's the most important thing for me. I remember my mom and dad, they've always like looked at what I was doing and they're like, when are you you have all these fancy degrees, like why don't you get a good job and like get paid what you deserve and like do these things? And then I was like, because I'm happy and like I get to do whatever I want, and because I pick these jobs, I have more freedom to do whatever I want. And then around the same time, but at different occasions, both my mom and dad like came up to me and they were like, you know what? It sounds like you got it right, because I don't know anyone that's as happy as you are. And for them to kind of say that was like, okay, it was like an approval of choosing this weird life and an acceptance of like that success can look different for different people. And for me, I am very happy. But of course I still want to, like, I have my goals and they're high and I want to make sure I reach them and succeed in those ways as well, not just being happy, if I can say that.
Well, that kind of begs the question, like, if success is happiness, what makes you happy?
I am a person that every single day, without thinking about it, I'm like, whoa, this is the best day ever, because something small happens that makes me happy. When we crossed the Pacific Ocean, that was like turned into my catchphrase, because something happened. I'm like, wow, best day ever. And I didn't notice. And then everyone else was like, oh, today's the best day ever. Like, that
is so relatable, because I do the exact same thing, and it's been a joke. People make fun of me for, oh, best ever. It's like, yeah. And I jokingly say back, well, yeah, because I live in the present. I live in the moment.
Exactly.
It's it. What can I say? It's true. It is actually the best day ever. I mean it. So I know exactly how I feel.
It's exactly like that, because yeah, like yesterday was also amazing, but now it's happening right now. So you get extra points for just being right now. And I'm good at finding the positive in things. And even, when we're in the middle of the ocean and it's a big storm and everything is breaking, it's like, well, now we got an opportunity to like solve this, and that's amazing. And then it's I'm very happy that I have this mindset and that I've been able to train it to get even stronger, because it's something that has made every day the best day ever. And I'm just living life on a cloud, and people are like, you're just living in this fantasy world. And I'm like, yeah, but that's fine, because it's great here.
Are you like, where do you fall on the scale between like even keeled versus very emotional with like high highs and low lows?
Very flat.
Okay.
Yeah, I've recently had more ups and downs. But in general, I'm like very flat. Lucky that flat is pretty high. So I'm in general, very, very high up there. I've never been a very emotional person. I'm just dead inside. It's what I've been told. But actually, it's part of it is true, because as an athlete, your hormones actually change, and I get more male hormones compared to female hormones, which is just like more nothing. So now when I've stopped working out that much, I'm like, wait, do I have emotions? This is weird. I'm trying to like figure that out at the moment. Like, why am I suddenly so sad because I see something on the road? Like, that would never even bother. Like, I wouldn't think about it before. So that's something that's actually new for me, to have emotions. But it's also a nice thing to now be able to experience a little bit more ups and downs. But still, I'm still pretty flat.
When did you decide to sign up for Golden Globe?
It was approximately a year ago, when Sailing Ripple Effect. So the end of Sailing Ripple Effect has always been very unclear. But then I was like, I need to be done with this now. I need to have a finish line. And then we said, okay, we'll do one more year and then we'll get finished the lap and it's going to be done. But then when that hit me, I was like, wait, but then what? Like, what am I going to do now? I can't go back to something that is not better than this, like, or it needs to be like this or better. It can be completely different, but I just need another challenge. I'm very project based. Like, I need something to work on that I can just give my all into, and that has a start date, it has a finish date, and I can just be all in. And then this thought about the Golden Globe came into my mind because a friend of mine, he told me about it a year or something earlier, because he was considering doing it. And then I was thinking about it and I'm like, no, that's silly. And then it just wouldn't leave my head. And I kept thinking about it. And I'm like, oh, maybe I can. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So it's kind of like just a response to an existential crisis, being like, I don't know what to do with my life. And then I see something crazy and I'm like, that's it. Some people get tattoos and I just sign up for that.
I think that is the challenge of living a life that is kind of full of adventures and new experiences and stuff, because you get stuck in that. And I had when we went to Svalbard for the first time in 2018, that was had been a project we'd been planning for many years. And when it was over, I was really like, I hadn't planned for it. Like you realized that Ripple Effect was going to be over and you needed the next thing. It never occurred to me that okay, this is going to be over one day. And then we were sitting in our kitchen, Mia and I, and I'm like, man, I'm really I don't know what to do now. I feel like I lost part of my identity. And Mia said well, just the next thing will come. Just be patient. You don't have to. And I think that was really, really good advice. And that's kind of been the pattern ever since then, is one big project happens and then back to that, you keep your eye open for opportunities, and then the next thing eventually comes along, and then you got to be able to snap it.
Yeah, exactly.
So because the Golden Globe is wrapped up in, there's so many different aspects of it. You have the challenge of sailing solo around the world, but then you have the kind of historic aspect of the original Golden Globe and Robin Knox Johnston and all these guys, and then you have the aspect of no technology and celestial nav. And I really like all the aspects of that, but what was drew it to you the most? And do you care about the fact that it is celestial nav? And is that a feature or a bug for you, the kind of extra rules that are around the race?
So that's one of the things that really made me want to do it, that it is no technology, navigate with the stars. I love that. The first time I did navigate with the stars, I was like, this is amazing. How can I do this? I just look up at the sky and I figure out where I am. It's incredible. And I love math. So I'm sitting there just calculating things, having the best time ever. So that's something that did draw me to it. Another thing is that since I'm very competitive, I I tend to, when it is something I'm going to compete in, I, go all in, but it takes away some of the joy about what I'm doing. And I didn't want that to happen with sailing. So I'm not at all interested in doing like Vendée Globe or the any other races that are like races. But this race, it's just a challenge for yourself. It is more about, you're going to sail around the world. You're going to do it in a wild way, but you have like an organization around you that both helps you and gives you some extra safety and support, but also that kind of pushes you to actually do it and do it now instead of always postponing it. So this race, for me, it made it a way that I could still like love sailing the way I do now, that it's not something I have to do. It's not something that is like our competition. I will take away the magic. I will keep the magic, but I can still do it. And then it's a race, which when I can see it in that way, it's just fun because I do love racing.
It's a motivator.
Yeah,
well, that's cool. And they've done 2 editions of the sort of modern Golden Globe, and they've still maintained that very high attrition rate. So like, what gives you the confidence to think that like you're gonna be able to complete it? Do you think you're gonna be able to complete it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I didn't think so, it's no point signing up for it. You have to have that mindset. And every time I do something, I think I'm going to be really good at it, which is like a little bit of a douchebag thing to say.
Yeah, but you have a track record now. I mean, basically you have been really good at most of the things you've done.
That's the thing. I'm like, why wouldn't I be good at this? And it's almost like it's a little bit random who makes it and who doesn't, because, the weather can hit you, and then you can't really do a lot. You have okay, you can do this and this and this, but
yeah,
if you're there.
I'm thinking of like Tapio the first time or the second time when his boat sank, like that was quite random. And then Susie Goodall, who was also really well prepared, very experienced, just kind of bad weather, bad luck, her drogue broke, and that was the end of it. So that's kind of it's such high stakes that you don't have control over every aspect of it.
Exactly. So I'm like, I will prepare really, really well. And I know myself, and I know that I'm good under pressure. I know that I can deal with being alone. Like, I know that it's not going to be my fault kind of if it doesn't work. If it doesn't work out, it's because something happens that I don't have control over. And like, that's nothing I can do anything about anyway. So I will do everything I can with the things I can, and then the rest just has to happen. But yeah, in my mind, there's just no way I'm not going to make it. And even if something would happen, I would have to stop, for example, then I'm like, well, I'm just going to keep going. Then I'm out of the main race, but that doesn't matter. It's still an incredible adventure and an incredible journey. So I'm just going to keep going and go for it.
How about like, you did all the business stuff with Ripple Effect and your other online businesses and stuff. I mean, how have you taken that to this? Because I guess you need to fund it, and you gotta still have to make a living as you're preparing for and doing this. This is a major time commitment as well. So how are you going to balance like that? Because like, presumably you're not retired, but maybe you are. I don't know.
I am not. No, it's definitely something that I'm working on setting up to make sure everything is going to be able to run when I'm away. And I'm using this opportunity as well to hopefully generate some income. So I have my shore team that will help me run my businesses when I'm away. And I've built a good team in my businesses, so I know that I can leave and it will be fine, which is good. And then, of course, I've seen this as like, I've built my Instagram because I know I need to get some income to be able to support this journey. I'm going to have now 2 years where I'm not really going to do anything else but prep for the race and do the race. So I need a way to support that. And by building my Instagram and building like everything around it as a way for me to actually support this. So we have something really, really cool coming up that I can't tell you about right now, but it's going to be pretty darn epic. And we hope to get a big sponsor on board for it, because then it's going to be the greatest show that the sailing world has ever seen. And it's
Can you tell me offline when we're done recording?
Maybe. I can tell you parts of it.
All right. So, speaking of that Instagram and all that social media stuff, like you seem pretty comfortable, like on camera, filming yourself, doing that kind of stuff. What is that? Do you enjoy that kind of thing, or is that like a necessary evil that you? Where does that fall on that scale of like you love doing it versus you have to do it?
It's a little mix. So if I didn't have to do it, I probably wouldn't, at least not to this extent. When I first joined Sailing Ripple Effect, that was a big part of my job, to film and to create videos. And I learned a lot from doing that. And it forced me to be on camera and forced me to just get comfortable with it. I still think it's awkward to put up my phone in the middle of a crowd and start talking to it. I'm like, I absolutely hate it. But it's a part of what I'm doing, so it's okay. But I've also started really to enjoy a lot of the process. And when I'm creating like these funny videos, I think that is a lot of fun. It takes some time that I probably should have spent on something else, but it's I do think it is fun when I can be creative in doing it. And I do think it's fun to plan it and like set up the different camera angles and really make it into a project when I make these videos. So I do like it, but I probably wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for this.
You also mentioned in some of the sort of stocky research I was doing before this call how you're excited about empowering women, and I think a lot of the Sailing Ripple Effect was to that goal. Like, so how does that fit into what you're doing and your goals and stuff?
Yeah, that's one of my big things. So as I grew up, like I had very strong female role models in my life. Like my mom and my grandma, they were both just badasses, and like they were the ones running companies and traveling the world and being the politicians. And I was like, that's how the world is. Like it's the women that rule. And then I grew up and I saw the rest of the world. And I'm like, oh, that's actually not the case. But by that point, that was already a part of me. So I was like, that's who I am now. But it made me realize that so many people, they don't have that role model in their lives. And I hope that I could be for one person, like that person that shows them that can actually do what they want to do. And especially my nieces, it's like a big motivation for me to be that person for them, because I see so clearly that they pick up everything I do. If I say that we should drive electric cars, they're going home to her parents are like, we should probably get an electric car because it's better for the environment. And if whatever I say, they pick up. And we were at this, it was my niece's birthday and she had her friends over, and it was like in the beginning of April and there was still a bit of ice on the water. And I heard my niece, we're talking to her friends, just like, my aunt is so cool. She just jumps into the water, even if it's freezing cold. So I think we should go and do that now. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then she was like, yeah, my aunt will just jump in. She's not afraid at all. And I'm like, damn it, now I just have to jump in.
Now you got to do it.
And then I just had to jump in. But then she was like, I'm also just going to jump in. And then she did it. And it made me feel so proud, because she was like, heck yeah, I can do everything as well because you can do it. And then she again inspired some of her friends to like try to push it as well. And it was just such a nice feeling to just see that I can actually have a positive impact, even though, this is a small thing. It's it's powerful as well to see that what I do, it matters and it affects the people around me. So I want to make sure that what I say and what I do is positive and hopefully empowers people. But of course, sometimes you mess it up and you do something that is wrong as well. But at least that is my goal, and I strive to do that.
How do you balance that sort of wanting to be a role model while also remaining humble?
It is, I mean, I'm reminded very often about that, you know, you can't do everything and there's so much to learn. And it's just something that you learn as you go, that it's, the more you learn, the more you learn that you don't know. And to kind of have that mindset that you're not the best, but you're trying and you can become better all the time. And it's something that I'm trying to do as well through my social media, is that I'm very open to suggestions, because I say one thing, but I'm like, but if someone else has some ideas for how to do it, please let me know. And I try to learn, but of course you get a lot of advice that are not necessarily right for you, but just to be open towards it and kind of get this input, and then you can pick and choose and take a little round and think about what's good, and try to also show that side that you don't know everything, but you try. And I think that's important.
They have this very un-American cultural concept in Sweden called I think it's called the jantelag. It's like, don't think you're better than anybody else. Does
we have the same. Yeah.
Norway share that?
Yeah.
So can you explain what that means?
Well, it's a stupid rule that says that you shouldn't think that you're better than anyone else, and that you're worth more than anywhere else, so that you know more than anyone else. And I think it's silly, because you should do that. Like, you have to believe in yourself. You can still be humble in that, but you have to have, if you're not going to believe in yourself, like, who's going to believe in you? And so I think it's important to just have that confidence. And if you want something, you go for it. If you're good at something, then you are allowed to be good at that. And you're allowed to say to people that you're good at it. But it is, of course, a balance to be humble about it as well. But I don't like janteloven.
As it relates to your like Golden Globe prep, first of all, when does it start?
It starts 6th of September next year, so it's 1 year.
Next year? Oh, wow. So you're like almost exactly a year away.
Yeah.
Okay. So as it relates to that, like, where are you most confident that you're like prepared, and where are you least confident that like, shit, I need to get some work done?
I'm very confident in my mental capabilities. I know I've been sailing around the world now for 3 years. And when shit hits the fan, I'm very calm. I do what needs to be done. Like, I don't freak out. I don't panic. I just know exactly what to do, and I do it. And that's something that gives me a lot of confidence before the race. And it also, I know that I'm very strong mentally. So I'm not going to quit because I'm lonely. I'm not going to quit because it's tough. And so I know that part is good. I hope, at least. I mean, things might change. I've never done something like this. And you might be out there and like, actually, this really sucks and I don't want to do it. But for now, I'm very confident in it. And then I'm going a bit back and forth, like, on my sailing skills, because I'm new to my boat. I haven't been sailing this boat for a long time. But then, I did go for a sail, and when I first went into the water, I was nervous. Like, I'd never been on the boat alone without the previous owner and like showing me how to do things. But then the second we got in the water, I was like, I totally know how to do all of these things. And I was like, okay, you're fine. And but then, you know, the other people in the race, they're all, not all of them, but a lot of them are like 60 plus years old and been sailing for their entire lives. So they obviously have a lot of experience that I don't have. But at the same time, I have over 40,000 nautical miles under my belt, which is actually a lot more than a lot of the other people, because I've been living on this boat, not this sailing ripple effect boat, for 3 years, and I've been in all the oceans, and I've experienced so many different things, and everything's broken, and we just have to deal with it, and you have to fix it. So then I get the confidence again, and then I'm like, oh, but actually, I don't know. So I'm going a bit back and forth on that, but in the end, I'm like, you know what? Everyone's just people. And it's what they say is like, it's not about the sailing is the easy part of it, because sailing is not that complicated. It is everything else that happens around it. And I think I would be pretty okay.
You're asking for support and stuff like that on your Instagram and the website and stuff. What do you think you need the most outside help with? And it can just be money as well. What is like the most help that you need?
Yes, money. For sure, because there are some things I just want to be like, I need to know it's good. Like, I want a rig to be really good. I want my SSB radio to be really good. And if I do it myself, I know I will doubt it a little bit, because it's not something that I have tens of years of experience with. So I want to have some professionals doing those things, and that costs money. So that's like, I need help with that. And I think that's the biggest thing. And then it's just experience, but I just need to go and sail.
Yeah, so you must have to do like some solo qualifying passages and stuff, right? What do the rules say?
So I need 6,000 nautical miles solo. 2,000 can be in any boat at any time, any distance. And then 4,000 needs to be in my boat in one go. And I can't use the autopilot, have to use the wind vane, and I have to do some celestial navigation. I'm allowed to have the GPS, but I need to show that I also can do the celestial. So I'm going to do that in January, where I'm going to cross the Atlantic Ocean, which will be amazing. I'm very excited about that. And I'm sure I'm going to learn so much. I'm just going to test all the sails, test the drow, test if my wind brakes. Everything is just going to be tested in that sail.
What's the boat? What kind of boat is it?
It's a Saltram Saga 36. So it's, as all the GGR boats, it's a full-keeled boat. It's a little bit heavier than, for example, the Rustler, which is the most popular boat. That is a choice I did make because I want to have a heavier boat for the Southern Ocean. I want it to be friggin' stable and sturdy. And it doesn't matter if it's fast if I'm not going to make it. So I'm like, I'll take a little bit heavier boat. It might be a bit slower in the Atlantic when the winds might be a little bit lighter, but also maybe not. It actually has a pretty good track record. Last time, Pat Lawless, who also has a Saltram Saga, he was right up there with the others. So I think it's not going to be down to that. And also Kirsten, that won last time, she had a heavier boat. And also, one of the reasons is that when you have a heavier boat, you can add more things to the boat without it affecting how it moves through the water that much. Like an extra, that's a lot, but like an extra ton on my boat is not as much as a ton when the boat weighs 7 tons versus mine, which is 11.
That's right. Yeah, the carrying capacity and stuff is easier. Have you, speaking of like Kirsten and the people that have done the races previously, are you in touch with anybody that's been sort of mentoring you?
Yeah, I'm talking to a lot of people. So I had some few calls with Kirsten as well, which has been really great. She's been telling me about what she learned, what went well, what she wanted to change, and that's been really great. And I'm also talking a lot with Pat Lawless, which has a similar boat to me. He's been very, very helpful with ideas how to do things and just to prep. I've been also talking to the Norwegian Arevig, who did the race in 2018, but got demastered at the Cape of Good Hope and had to quit. And then we have this skipper group with all the skippers, and we talk a lot with each other and just try to help each other out, because the biggest, or one of the biggest challenges is just making it to the start. So now we're all just trying to help each other out to make sure we all make it.
What is there anything that scares you? Not necessarily about GGR, but just in general.
I've been thinking a lot about this question because people keep asking me about it. And in general, like, I'm not a person that gets scared very easily. But I'm like, it has to be just something about my family. And because I'm not really afraid of other things. It would be to lose my family in some way. But
are you nervous about not being able to communicate?
No. I'm not.
Simple no.
Yeah, I think we will be able to do it. In terms of, like, with some people, with the SSB radio. Sure. And with the race organization. And to talk to other people, it's just something that I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen. And that's fine. It's just how it is. And I don't really worry too much about it. It's probably going to suck at times. And you really want to talk to someone and you can't. But that's okay. And that's why I need to just have an SSB radio that is really, really good. So I can actually talk to the other competitors and to the people that I'm allowed to talk to.
So I have two questions just to wrap this up, so to not take any more of your time, because we'll probably get a chance to do this again. I'd love to talk to you after you've done your sort of trial sales and stuff, and see how you feel at that point versus now. But what are you two questions. What are you most looking forward to? And it doesn't have to be GGR related, just to life in general. And then what do you want to recommend to people listening? And that can be anything at all. An idea, a book, a album, whatever.
What am I looking most forward to? That is a big question. I'm very excited about a lot of things. I'm very excited about crossing the finish line in the GGR. Like, that's a moment that I see in my mind very often. And just like having all my friends and family waiting for me at the finish line and just having this feeling of accomplishment and being like, heck yeah, I did that thing, which I'm very excited about, but also a bit worried about, because then what, then what's going to happen? And I'm sure this race is going to change me in some way. So the things that I want now probably won't be the things that I want when I come back. Like, I will see the world in a different way, I guess. But it's something I'm really, really excited about. And I'm like, my hope is that I will make it back just in time for my niece's birthday, which is like the start of everyone's birthday in my family. And I'm like, if I make it back, I can go to everyone's birthday, and that would be amazing. So that's something I'm really excited about.
And what do you recommend?
I recommend that people flippin' just prioritize their happiness a little bit more, and that they're not so afraid of taking risks and the unknown. And because in, like, most of the times, like, if you go for something and if it wouldn't work out, you can go back to how it's now. Like, you don't have to burn all the bridges, and most people don't have to do that to try something new. And even, like, just to try something new, a lot of adults are like, when they're kind of set in their life, and it's like, this is it now. These are my friends. These are my hobbies. This is my job, and that's it. And to just go and try a new hobby, like take a dance class, go to CrossFit, start karate or like whatever, just
Fencing.
do a new hobby. Yeah, do fencing. Like it gives you so much, and it's good for your health, it's good for your brain, it's good for everything. And maybe you find something you love. So yeah, just try something new.
Cool. Love it. Thanks for talking to me, Mara. We'll be rooting for you. I told you August, who owns and runs Isbjorn, our other boat. He lives in Bergen and is based there, so he was very excited to have another Norwegian to root for in the Golden Globe. So, thanks for talking to me.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been great.
Thanks again to Orca and Boldano for sponsoring this episode of the show. Go to getorca.com to modernize your boat's navigation, and go to boldano.com and use the code ONTHEWIND for 20% off your Turkish towels. On the Wind is the podcast about sailing, created by 59 North and hosted by me, Andy Schell, and also by Nikki Henderson, Jesse Zevelkink, and August Sandberg. The show is mixed and produced by me and August in Sweden and Norway, respectively. The intro theme music is composed and performed by former podcast guest, sailor, and musician Cameron Dale, while the outro music you're hearing now is, of course, by our friends, the Storm Weather Shanty Choir from Bergen, Norway. We love hearing from our fans, so send your questions and comments to holdfast@59-north.com, and please do us a favor and review the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to join us on the quarterdeck as well to nerd out about seamanship. That's quarterdeck.59-north.com. Until next time, hold fast.
And when me money was all gone on liquor and the horse, I made up me mind that I was inclined to go to sea no more. No more, no more, to go to sea no more. I made up me mind that I was inclined to go to sea no more. As I was walking down the street, I met sweet Angeline. She said, come home with me, me lad, and we'll have a cracking time. But when I awoke, it was no joke. I found I was all alone. My silver watch and my money too, and my whole bloody gear was gone. Was gone, was gone. My whole bloody gear was gone. It was when I awoke, it was no joke, for my whole bloody gear was gone. As I was walking down the street, I met Big Rapper Brown. I asked him if he would take me in, and he looked at me with a frown. He said, last time you was paid up with me, you took up no score. But I'll take your advance and I'll give you a chance to go to sea once more. Once more, once more, to go to sea once more. I'll take your advance and I'll give you a chance to go to sea once more. Sometimes we're catching whales, me lads, but mostly we get none. With a 20-foot oar in every paw from 5 o'clock in the morn. And when daylight's gone and the night's coming on, we rest upon our oars. And oh boys, you wish that you was dead, or snug with the girls ashore. Ashore, ashore, or snug with the girls ashore. Oh boys, you wish that you was dead, or snug with the girls ashore. Come all you seafaring lads that listen to me song. When you go a big boating, boys, make sure you do not go wrong. You take my tip when you come off a trip, don't go with any horse, but get married instead and have all night in bed and go to sea no more. No more, no more, to go to sea no more. Get married instead and have all night in bed and go to sea no more. No more, no more, to go to sea no more. Get married instead and have all night in bed and go to sea no more.